all right, everyone, we're here once again. All right, so just vibing, fucking vibing over here. All right, let's see, let's make sure we got cool. We got me in full screen. Hello, just making sure I say that initial hi. I still gotta set up Chatterino, but for some reason it won't accept my stream key or whatever. So we'll figure that out later. But for now, Mama's back. Yeah, she back at it again. All right, we can sort of like do 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 do. Cool. You see me from a like ish. Like I want it to be higher. I want the thing to be like taller, but I can't really make this taller. So this is about the best angle we're gonna get. Is a sort of a little bit below me angle. Like it comes up to my nose. Like so. This angle we're working with. It would be better if it were like that would be perfect. That would be great. But we got this instead, so we'll work with what we got. Put it up, put it down. Cool. Looks good to me. All right. So Matt Walsh is a transphobic book writer, and that's who we're talking about today. To make sure I got my bases covered, like it'd be nice to have Chatterino to work, but it's not working. I already mentioned that, but the whole thing is like I want to be able to read the chat while I do stuff, but it's kind of hard to the way it currently works out for me. But I'm with a janky headphone set. I'm with a just a janky setup altogether. Let's see. Did I post that other one? Gonna post that. Okay, I handled Twitter. I handled the other stuff. For now, this is about all we need to get right now. All right. I'll let some people spill in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did everything I need to do. Pretty sure. Um, so yeah, Matt Walsh is this, what do you call them? Writer, not an illustrator, author. That's what you call him. Because yeah, oh, I should know that. But either way, Matt Walsh is this author who thinks that sorry, I should just said that out loud. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. I couldn't really say your name out loud because it was such a conglomeration, but I'm glad you're here, watching from. No problems. Hi Val. Hi, Miami man. Hi everyone. So glad you came. Thank you for stopping by. I'm still very workshoppy at this point, but I'm getting it together. But yeah, I mean, it's good to be back. My room's finally mine again. Like, oh my god. Like, oh my god. That story, once I get out of this thing, that's gonna be a fun story. But for now, we're just gonna leave it at finally there's not stuff in my way. That way I can walk backwards and I can walk forwards and there's no one in my way and I can still do my fucking job. So that's a really nice thing. And it's in the middle of the day and this is about the best time that I could do it. But yeah, so I'm glad to be here talking with everyone. My arms are getting thick. I mean, ish. That's thicker than I'm used to. But yeah, I mean, not much. Just fucking basically. Okay. Someone had a perfect analogy as to what I'm doing. Do you know those guys in jail or in prison? Do you know how they have like those balls and they throw them up against the floor and the wall and the floor and the wall again and again? It's basically what I'm doing while I'm waiting at this place. Because the only reason that I'm here is for my fucking surgery, which is supposed to be by right given to me as a transgender woman 7 years going. I already got my name change, I already got my gender change. I already am on hormones, have been on hormones for more than 3 years. So, I should have already gotten this surgery by now, but facial surgery should be coming up. I'm waiting on my last mental health therapist to send me the letter of mental health support so that I can get that and then print it and then bring it to the fucking surgeon to plan a time to do the surgery. problem that I'm going through right now is where I'm going to be staying during that time of the surgery, because sometimes it takes months to set up a surgery itself. So, if it's by the time that I have to leave this place, actually, I'm gonna have to find a place to live. So, worried about that a bit. But while we have this time, might as well churn out some extra content so people know who I am and what I do. And basically, I'm just a trans girl that talks about trans shit basically all the time. Sometimes black stuff, Black Lives Matter stuff, black issues like black nationalism or things like that, or like other kind of communist or anarchist topics. But today we're going to be talking about a lot of trans stuff. So I hope you're happy, you're ready, you're excited, because the show's about to get going. All right, everyone, let's change to YouTube. Let's go to YouTube, and we're not even going to do that because it didn't even show up anymore. But yeah. Three, two, one. Okay, responding to transgender YouTuber allies who hate my children's book. And there's a good reason I hate this children's book. I've never had the children's book in my hands and hope never to, but plenty of people have, and plenty of people have read it online and seen the videos of it where he fearmongers children. We're about to see that. So here we go. Back into the right wing pipeline to tell everyone why I'm not right wing again. Oh boy. I just want to note that I've seen this video before, just by watching it through Walsh's channel. But he's going to be calling Samantha Sam for the rest of this video, and it is just such a pussy way to get out of actually gendering someone correctly by calling their name something for short, like Krista, Chris, because she's trans or something, and he calls Samantha Sam. So just be prepared. There's transphobia. There's a lot of transphobia in this one. Yeah. That's I'm sorry, Bubba, but you didn't scathe any of us. This is gonna be funny because he doesn't really know how to counteract like legitimate responses to his book, and some of these responses are kind of like they're half cocked, but he doesn't even get on them for like the real reason as to why they're bad or not. And it's just because he's a transphobic man. Like transphobic men don't have a lot going on in there. They just got this woman cis trans no exist. That's basically his point of view. We're gonna see in a second. This guy's a bigot. He's not an advocate for inclusion. He's an advocate for exclusion and regression. Okay? When someone says a lie, normally I want to jump in there and say something. I gotta create content anyways, but this man is a fucking liar straight off the bat. He does not like inclusion. He likes exclusion. That's his main stick. Oh, you always do that, dude. You leave trans people out as these animals, and you treat other cis people like humans. You're the fucking animal, man. You should be excluded from our country. Go to jail. These are the kind of people. This is okay. This is an argument I've been trying to understand other left wing people making as a joke, which I sort of see as a joke too. I don't believe people who are this stupid belong in jail. They belong in rehabilitation, that's for sure. But people who promote dangerous ideologies and dangerous behaviors, say Nazism, say any form of racism, any form of transphobia, any form of bigotry that can legitimately hurt children growing up, which he does. He harms a bunch of children in this video with language that confuses them and makes them think thoughts that aren't their own. He actually brainwashes them during the time he talks to them, which is harmful, believe it or not. So, people like this do belong in rehabilitation because they could actually spread mass hate towards trans people, and a trans person going to school with these kids might be harassed by these kids, and that's exactly what he wants and wants to get away with, is public harassment of trans people, trying to further push us away from the society that we're already not accepted in. You think I'm accepted in broad society today? No fucking way, no fucking how. I never have been and I never will be. But he's trying to make that worse for our trans kids. So trans kids do exist, by the way. I'm just saying that in advance because he says they don't. Because he's who he is. Oh, lucky you, bro. You don't deserve their subscriber view. The whole spectrum is four people. He includes four people. So true, bruh. So true. That's what they're always trying to do. That's what they did to me growing up. Like, my mom and my dad made sure that they hated the F slur, which is, what they used to describe anyone who was LGBT friendly. They made sure that I knew that slur and that my father used that slur frequently, and my mother would laugh when he used it, that it was positive reinforcement of negative behavior. And this is what they do to children. This is what they did to me. This is what they did to my brother and my sister. Sadly, my brother and my sister are simps for being fucking all pro, just, what would you call that? Like, negativity, but there's another word for it, prejudice, like all pro prejudice. They're like very prejudiced people. My sister told me as soon as I became trans she doesn't love me anymore, and my brother told me that I was a demon going to hell. So this is what he promotes. He promotes psychotic behavior and bigoted behavior. And he's doing that to children, and he's being allowed to do this to children, which I think the book should be banned and should be taken out and should be and the guy should suffer some kind of consequence for harming children who have young developing brains who are now being taught by their parents this bullshit through his book and through his teachings, which we'll see in a second. But yeah, it's bad, it's negative, and it doesn't belong in the public. Just imagine. Okay, someone writes a book called Johnny the white male or whatever, and like Johnny starts accepting black people, and that's a negative thing, and it's shown as a negative thing, and like you shouldn't have to drink at the same fountain as black people. It's the same exact excuse. You shouldn't have to capitulate to trans kids. You shouldn't have to capitulate to black kids. You shouldn't have to capitulate to this minority or that minority. It's the same thing. It's dangerous, and it should be taken out of stores. It should be taken off of Amazon. It should be all of these negative, regressive, prejudice like sources to create kids into negative, uh, regressive, prejudiced people should be taken away from them, which is what we're trying to do in the school system in general, and miserably failing because a lot of these children still grow up not knowing anything about being trans or anything about what it means because their parents are allowed to brainwash them, and this is one of the means that they have to brainwash them. So we have to be careful with this kind of stuff and not let it just go kind of unchecked. And I'm glad, thank you, just Lazy Gamer for making this response, and Vosh and the others. There's a trans guy I think that's in this video too. But yeah, yeah, the hubris is insane. Wonder why. So he might be right about that. Like he'd play the victim if it did get banned, but I don't know if he was exactly planning that. I think he relishes in the fact that yes, I'm itching my ear right now, the inside of my ear. Ooh, how gross! But it doesn't matter. I wanted to read the title real quick, but yeah, I don't think he really cares whether it does or doesn't get banned. He'll get it out somehow because he's allowed to because hate speech still isn't actually like stopped unless it's specifically about a minority that's known and that's respected. Trans people are not one of them. Black people are, they're kind of respected. Really not. Like, in my experience in the wide world, black people are still treated pretty fucking awfully, even though they're called equals. And that's all we could ever expect as trans people, but we're not even there yet. We're still treated like fucking animals in the streets, fucking animals to society. A lot of these people don't belong around us. We do deserve protection from that vitriol, from that hate, from that negativity that legit can influence someone whether or not they want to live life or not. Like when it becomes a matter of quality of life, a matter of life or death, which it can be both this for black people and any minority, trans people included. Like just imagine, you grow up and you're white and no one ever tells you you're awful because you're white. And then there's another kid that grows up because he's black and he's told all his life that he's awful. And another kid who grows up because she's trans and she's told all her life that she's awful. There's going to be a difference in wanting to belong in these societies between the white kid who wasn't treated like he was awful for fucking being white, because that's appreciated and accepted and praised. Black is not, and neither is trans. And we grow up resenting these societies because of people like this, able to do hate speech, able to perform hate speech constantly, misinformation constantly, a brainwashing of children constantly. All this stuff is not progressing society, is regressing to society. Before there were rights for black people, before there were rights for trans people, that's what they're aiming for. These people don't deserve rights because they're not like us. That's exactly what they're arguing for. Trans people don't deserve to transition no matter what age, because they're not like us, they don't think like us, because if they only thought like us, they'd see it the way we do. That's the same thing that's been going on with like Nazi Germany, like when Nazi Germany happened. It's these Jews don't think the same way, don't look the same way, and it honestly, sadly, it really does come down to that a lot. Don't look the same way because of my fucking god back, my huge fucking muscular back, my big ass back. I'm treated like a motherfucker in the streets. I'm treated like a fucking creepy tranny all the time. It doesn't matter what I do. And the people who talk to me normally talk to me to humiliate me, normally talk to me to harm me, talk to me to trap me, talk to me to make fun of me. And that doesn't make me want to engage more with society. It makes me want to either hide away, leave the society, or change it. And I'm working to change it, as best I can with my small voice. But, I'm known not for speaking, so trying to make that a thing. There are a lot of streams I have not published. So many streams I have never published that I'm thinking about going back into. Not even sure if I can, because it's all in my old computer, and it would all be old, outdated stuff. But at the same time, it's really good content. At the same time, so it's kind of hard to decide what to do with that. But I'm trying to change the bigoted, prejudiced society that overwhelms all minorities. If you're a minority in any kind of way, what they'd like, this kind of man would love an ethno state where there's just cis people, trans people aren't around, so he wouldn't go ooh when he sees a trans person, because he's a fucking bigot and nobody tells him stop acting that way, motherfucker, or you're gonna face consequences. But no, there's consequences for the guy smoking weed to just get some relief from the trauma that he's faced all his life. Then he's pulled over and put in jail for smoking weed, for trying to feel better, in society where he knows he doesn't belong. Not only was he fucking taken from Africa, his ancestors taken from Africa and forced over here as slaves, then liberated and confused as to what to do in a land that isn't their own. People like me have belonged everywhere. Trans people belong everywhere, but are simultaneously told they belong nowhere. There is nowhere for a trans person to go to just be completely safe. Not even in West Hollywood. I've been in West Hollywood. Not even in like other countries which say they totally accept and love trans people. There are huge dangers if I go over to places where trans people are worshipped, because normally they're worshipped because they're a rarity. And when they're a rarity, it's more dangerous to be over there because there are also other people who fucking despise you. Like, there are a lot of Turkish men who really like me. There are a lot of people over in East Asia, like that part of the world. I don't know if you call it East Asia. I've been told that you do, and then I've also been told that you don't. In like Arabic places and places that have different cultures and languages, which like preach being only cis and being straight and white, and or you know being uh the archetype that is like accepted by society already. And there's people over there begging and wishing that trans people were over there, offering me lots of money to go over there. But it's fucking dangerous to do so because the wide and broad public hate me and want me dead. There are places I have to have like places where I can get some space from all of it in order to get my thoughts out. Just my thoughts. I can't get any of my actions out. I can't change anything about the way the government works. I've been running through loopholes in this government for 7 years in order to get my surgery, and I still don't have a single one done. Like, it's, and this is quote unquote the most progressive place to be, you know? So it stuff like this should be counteracted, at least in speech. And if they can't stand that, then they got to realize that if you want to and you're willing to be a bigot openly, you will be openly criticized for it. Either way, let's read this title. Johnny is a little boy with a big imagination. One day he pretends to be a big scary dinosaur. The next day he's a knight in shining armor, or a playful puppy. But when the internet people find out Johnny likes to make believe he's forced to make a decision between the little boy he is and the things he pretends to be. Okay, so growing up as a trans kid, I wasn't pretending. Okay? I was never pretending when I told my mom, this isn't my name. This isn't my gender. Neither of these things are me. I want a new name. My name is Jessica, and I'm a female, and that's who I am. And when I came out, I was met with bigotry, prejudice, abuse, concussions, destruction. My parents tried to kill all of us as children. My mother tried to actually physically kill us, and my father left for work and never addressed the attempted murders on our life. Which is what confuses me the most about my brother and sister standing by that family. That all of them were in attempted actual murder. My mother belonged in prison for child abuse, child neglect, and child attempted murder. She never went to prison. She died from cancer. But she got away with tormenting and abusing and using this regression tactic to make me feel worse about who I am and who I was. I was never pretending. I didn't go, ooh, I'm a girl today. Ooh, I'm a non-binary person today. I didn't do that. I was like, this is who I am. And for that, she gave me my first concussion. So this is why this is dangerous and deadly. It can kill children. Or if they're lucky, survive with the trauma and with the pain and with the brain damage that follows the abuse that is encouraged by this behavior of bigotry and non-acceptance. This is dangerous. This isn't a joke. Okay? The same thing goes for people who used to say, but I think black people are human too, but I think black people don't deserve to be slaves. They would have it beaten out of them. And the level to the degree of those punishments isn't decided by anyone but the singular parent who gets to decide in their all-powerful position how to abuse their children. And abuse can permanently damage you, and it has permanently damaged me. It didn't change my gender identity. I never changed my gender identity. I knew I was a woman from the jump. But it damaged my brain. And it damaged my ability to want to see people or talk to people or be in crowds or be near people. Because my mother was a person, and she was white, and she was cisgender. And when I see white cisgender people, I'm terrified. I don't want to be around them. I don't want to be near them. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to make friends with them. I never will. It's thanks to my mother's abuse that I will forever be this way. He is not allowed to change his mind. However, I was always allowed to change my mind. There was never a time when I didn't get to change my mind. I could always change my mind about the fact that my parents were bigots. I couldn't openly talk about the fact that I don't agree with my parents. I couldn't openly talk about the fact that I still am who I am. But that doesn't mean that I was forced into being one way or another in my entire human life. Nobody forced me to have to go through conversion therapy, though my mother did try. She would love to. She would have loved to. That's the problem. They would have loved to. They forced me to hide, is what they did. They forced me to not be honest. They forced me to be afraid, to not trust them, and to resent them. And that's what this kind of behavior creates: resentment, fear, anguish, and pain and misery. It's not positive. It's not cute. It's not a cute little book. It's a serious, deadly, life or death topic. I've considered killing myself multiple times. Was it ever because I felt like a woman? No. It was because of the way people treated me for my being a woman. It was because of people like Matt Walsh. From the Daily Wire personality, of course the Daily Wire, and best-selling author Matt Walsh. Somehow this guy got to be a best-selling author. Didn't even, whatever, illustrate the book. Comes a timely tale of innocence, identity, and imagination. Again, it was an imagination. I was innocent, and I was abused for my identity. This kind of stuff isn't to be taken lightly. We're not supposed to be glancing over this. We're not supposed to be haha laughing at it like Walsh does or whoever else does. You know, it's whatever. It's not supposed to be whatever. It's supposed to be this is dangerous. It's fucking dangerous. It encourages the abuse that I've suffered, that other trans people have suffered. Bar none, I've always met trans people suffering at the hands of white, cis, straight people. Never not seen that. Never once in my entire life. White, cis, hetero people damaging trans people. Who else wrote this but a white, cis, hetero man? So, on with the stupidity, I guess. Well, a little bit of intelligence and then stupidity. No, it doesn't. You don't need that money, Walsh. You need to be educated, to be rehabilitated, because you are harming people and allowed to harm people. And the reason you are allowed to harm people is because harmful people are leading this country. And the reason harmful people are leading this country is because we have a military as our base and most highest level of funding. We have a police force that is our base and most highest level of funding. Police are overarmed, military overarmed, and all we do is cause death and destruction. That's why thoughts like these are fine to share, but thoughts like mine are few to none. Very few people will speak like I speak openly as a minority in this way. Most people will have an air of comedy, have an air of brushing it off, have an air of belittling, but I refuse to. Because it was important to me and is important to me and was and will be and still is important to the trans children growing up today, the trans parents growing up today, and the trans people by and large all over the world. Ugh, I didn't want to hear that. It's not a steal. It's $40 for your book that looks like it was drawn by. I've hired people for more money to draw a single image. Like, my banner is worth about as much money as a single page of his book, and it's done with more fucking grace and intelligence. And he paid for. It doesn't. You are literally not the most prominent and respected LGBT writer. You definitely are not, bro. You are the least respected LGBT writer among the LGBTQ community, buddy. Oh my god. Like, right wingers and people who are like who are just bigoted, they think they could just get away with saying lies and acting like they're truth. Because they can, because the broad public is so stupid. They're all so stupid. They don't care. Oh, Matt Walsh made a children's book and it brainwashes my child. Oh well. Oh, someone's making a book that brainwashes children. What? Why would I care? Like, that's the majority of our public. Oh man, but it legit takes a spark to start a fire. Their fire's burning, and I'm trying to start this spark. Philanthropist. Signature worth thousands. You know what? My signature's worth a lot too, bro. But I still, bro, by the way, but I still give it for nothing. Because I'm not an egomaniac like you are, bud. I'm not trying to make a profit off of my fans. I am trying to create art that people love and enjoy at a cheap price, the cheapest price that I can to survive. All I do, you know. God, my signature is honestly probably worth more than him, and I don't even have to write it on anything but a body. Men and women would flock to me if I said I'm writing signatures, and they'd pay for it. And I could get it more than what you got, but you have no humility. You are all ego. Does that look like? Yes, see, I told you didn't plan on that, but does that look like a humiliated man to you? That looks like a cock-heavy man. It looks like a big-headed man. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what next. I'm gonna tell you what next. Doesn't look like. I'm humble and I'm kind. You're not a humble, kind man. Get that shit out of your head. You're a cocky egomaniac, bruh. So he did want to get banned, but at the top five. Yes, it does. The book explicitly hates on trans kids, trans parents, and transgender supporters, which we'll see in a second. Ooh, whoa! He just erased a minority, man. Man, if it was only like that, if I could only be like, there's no such thing as cis kids, and it just would be true, you know? He gets to say that, and his supporters go, damn right, it's true. Damn right, there ain't no such thing as a trans kid. There ain't no such thing as an LGBT neither. Like, that's who he's preaching to right now, you know? It's the people in fucking Oklahoma that are white and racist, you know? Those people. He's proud. He's proud of it. You know, my base are like a couple nerds, maybe some trans people, maybe some nice people, maybe some people by and large of all sorts who watch me and go, okay, she made a good point, but it's too long. About all they say. This is short and punchy and stupid, and it gets to the short, punchy, stupid people. Yeah. Your issue is with the adults who brought to light that transness doesn't have to start at a certain age. Your issue is with facts. Your issue is with reasoning and science, which there have been tons upon tons of scientific. Like, oh my god, there's this H Bomber guy video about the LGBTQ science of how many. It's one of his older videos too, and these books, these papers, these studies, meta studies, like meta means a lot of studies, like studies after studies of trans people not only being everywhere in society, in ancient society, but also being young. Like, it's the way I was. Like, I'm right here. My mom didn't create it. No one else ever told me I was it. I knew it. You can't erase what is, you know? It'd be just nice to say there ain't no such thing as cis kids. You're always LGBTQ. Man, so you are hateful. Ooh, he's willing to call people who are supportive to minorities child abusers when my mother was a legit child abuser who would have bought this book for me. The irony is thick, man. I can't even chew through it. That's it. That's all he had to say to him. And no, it didn't clear it up. It fogged everything around everyone's view who's actually listening to you and think you're making legitimate odd uh, uh, arguments that it's fine to be bigoted because this smart man says punchy things and he punches around all the actual facts and logic. He's just like, none of it exists. None of it exists. Trans people don't exist. Oh, you're child abusers. Oh, rather than actually being like, you know, I think that like trans people are bad because that's actually what I think. Like that's what he's saying, but he can't say it. Instead, he says they don't even exist. I can't be hateful. They don't even exist. You can't be hateful if it doesn't exist. Neither do black people. They don't exist. They don't exist. I am happy that way. Basically the argument. Just get it out of your mind. Get it out of your head. The things you don't like, they aren't there. They're not even real. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can't be abusive to your child. You couldn't be abusive to your child because your child can't be that way. It's not. No. My mother would love this. My mother would have relished in this. See, you're not even really trans. There are no real trans children. The only thing that would have made me do is been like, yeah, like the closet is a safe place for now. Like, oh. A simple procedure. These procedures are tens of thousands of dollars expensive. Like, very expensive. If my FFS, which I'm getting soon, hopefully, is $50,000 worth, I'm willing to bet bottom surgery and, you know, the possibility of blood loss and death in surgery is worth 75, 100,000, maybe $150,000 to get these kind of surgeries. Looking in hindsight, I thought at the beginning it would only be like 25,000 or something like that, but the economy's fucking crazy. Either way, that is a complex job for a doctor to do. That is a hard, careful procedure. It's not simple. It's hard. And it is fucking terrifying for that doctor to have to go through that. So he does deserve compensation. I am operating on a patient who might die of blood loss, and if I don't do this just the right way, they might fucking die. It's not easy, but it is relieving. It helps the trans person. And we do not do this to children. It's not done to children, but someone responds to that already really soon here. But it's not simple, and it doesn't cut one thing into another thing. What it does is it replaces, like it doesn't replace it, repositions organs. It's not like they just cut your dick off, cut your balls off, throw them in the trash, and then they like install a new vagina. All those organs are still there. They're just reused. They're made in such a way. They're placed in such a way that it's positive for the patient. Um, One thing that is done right now, which is like, it's too bad, but right now the testes, I'm pretty sure, are removed, and they're just not placed back into the body. However, in 2044, or future that I've heard around there, like 2045, 2044, there's going to be tests for surgeries which will place the testicles into the vagina to make ovaries. And sooner or later, around that time, same time frame, wombs also C-sectioned into the patient, into the transgender female patient. So, yeah, it's not just chopping your body off. Like it'll cut your hand into a fin, or it'll cut your cock into a vagina. It will help alleviate your dysphoria about your body, allow you to live with the vagina that you've longed for, and you'll still have all those organs that you had before. You'll still have them. You know, the parts that you want and that matter and that we can actually help you with. We will help you with. It's not like we're just gonna cut it up and turn that fucking cock into a vagina. It's not like that, because if it was, it would be outlawed. It's a very careful, complex procedure. Jesus Christ. Now we're about to see him brainwashing a bunch of children, and honestly, this part makes me very uncomfortable, but cut into Johnny and make him a Auroras. Sounds like a fucking horror novel. This poor child, he's like confused. He's like, oh my god, is this really happening? Like, trans people are being cut into and tormented? Like, this has to stop. Of course, he's a baby. How is he going to believe anything else? An adult is telling him this. Currently being brainwashed. And it's so sad to see. It's so terribly sad to see. You know, it's like the same thing as like, and the black person wants his freedom, like, and the the freedom that he wants is to die in the wilderness. Like, isn't that awful, kids? It's like, no, the black person wants fucking equality, and so does the trans person. The trans person wants fucking equality. That's what they're fighting for. That's what they're aiming for. That's what these surgeries do. They give them the uh quality of life that they desire for. They don't cut them up and destroy their body like he's explaining to these children, manipulating them with brainwashing tactics. If that were the truth, then we'd all know it was wrong. But it's not the truth. The actual truth is it saves lives. Yeah, that is scary. That would be scary to a child. I imagine that'd be fucking terrifying. It's so sad. God damn. Here's a trans guy. I'll let him speak quickly. Okay, so Matt Walsh is about to use a very stupid debate tactic, which is like it's like replacing an argument and then retaining the argument. Basically, what it's doing is it's lying first, which is he's about to say that transgender surgeries aren't mutilation, and then he goes on to say, but they are mutilation when it comes to trans surgeries. So he's just saying I actually meant that, but don't focus on it. Now focus on it. Okay, now it's gone. Like, that's all he's doing. He's like, I can't actually argue this, straight up. So I'm going to like sort of dim it down and then show you and then go and then let it go away. Because he says trans people can have like surgeries that have to do with any other kind of surgical procedure that doesn't involve transition. But as soon as it involves transition, actually, yes, it is. It is mutilation. So he's about to lie here. Yes, you do. You think when trans people have transitional surgery, they're mutilating themselves. You left out a single word. That's the thing he's doing. It's like he's saying like for instance, I don't know, like not non-binary people aren't not the gender they say they are when they say they're a boy or a girl. But as soon and then he brings it back up as soon as they say they're not either, then yes, like it's just it's a bad argument. It's a fallacy. It's gotta be it's gotta be in the fallacy books. But yeah, he's oh god, does he look like an idiot? But it doesn't destroy the healthy body part. Okay? If I got a vagina today, my vagina would be intact from the material that came from my penis and my testicles. Because those are used too. Maybe not the testes themselves, but the testicle material is all used and put in a place that is helping and relieving and positive. It's not just cutting it all off. Like he acts like what it is like he grabs the balls and the cock and he just and that's not what happens. They reassign carefully reassign so that it's useful, so that it's positive for the person. They don't just it's not like that. It's not even close to like that. They don't carry hacksaws around and tell you, I'm gonna cut your penis into a vagina, mister. It's not what they do. It's not what they do. Okay? It is just a fear mongering tactic that has no basis in reality. And it never will have a basis in reality. Slices open a healthy organ and flips it inside out into a healthy organ. What? Like we do that. Walsh already said this, but yeah, we already do that with other organs. Like when somebody needs some kind of um like procedure to their body, like say someone's missing a thumb, but they put the thumb from the other thumb onto this thumb because that's their primary hand. That is inverting the body part to make it useful. We do this already, and you accept it just because it's not trans. That's the only reason. As soon as it's trans, it's from the devil. Like that's all. That's his entire argument. It's of the devil. Like it's not mutilation by definition. It is a surgery that helps people. And they are not removed or destroyed. Save the testes. Everything else, all the material, is repurposed so that it can be useful and helpful to the individual, not destroyed. It's not like they cut it off and then they throw it in the trash can. They carefully replace and re-put the organ so it works as the organ that is desired. And the patient comes out so much fucking happier. Man, are they stupid, man? They just think, like, oh yeah, you just completely cut it off and it's destroyed. What was the other word? Removed or destroyed. Like, oh, okay, and then he's talking about trans men getting it. It's like, oh, you completely destroy the boob. Actually, no, the man still has his nipples where he wants his nipples to be. He still has his chest where he wants his chest to be. It's that portion of his body, that small portion of his body, that will be replaced so that he can be happy, not so that we can destroy it and burn it in the fire. It's nothing like that. It's not like he just wants to destroy that part of his body and he goes around with these holes in his body. Like, that's not what happens. It's a very careful procedure that is made so that the person can live a happier life with scars that are meticulously placed so that they can be happy with their body and their body is still there. If trans men knew and it was like this, that they'd take a hacksaw and just chop that off and you'd have to live with these open wounds that slowly heal and turn to huge blistering scars that never leave for the rest of your life, trans men wouldn't advocate as much for top surgery. But that's not what it is. It's a careful, studied science to help alleviate the patient of pain and dysphoria. That's what it is, Matt. That's what it is. Yes, there is denying it because you're wrong. You're just wrong, Matt. You're wrong. These surgeries help and heal people. If they do or they don't, they're A, minor trans men, and B, if they're minor girls who get their breasts removed because of cancer or something else like that, or they're non-binary or something else like that. Like, that is, and it isn't dangerous to their life, it wouldn't be done if it was known that it would kill the patient. If it was a fact that it would kill the patient, no matter what, the surgery wouldn't be performed. Okay? If it was a fact that it would mutilate the patient, no matter what, then it wouldn't be performed. Instead, these surgeries help and heal the patient. They give them better quality of life. Mm. Minor boys have penis mutilated, maybe in some far off country, which I've heard of before, which actually does mutilate with non-studied surgical performances, which actually do mutilate body parts. Maybe there, but if they're young trans women, then no, they're being healed. No, I wasn't put on this path, okay? By and large, most of us aren't put on this path by adults leading us to this path. I chose this path, and each step I've taken further and further away from the closet and my abusers has been my individual decision, no one else's. In fact, the majority of people in society discourage my transness. They never will encourage it. Never, all my life. Not the next generation, not the next generation, maybe the generation after that. But it will always be the individual person's decision to decide whether or not they want medical procedures. Because if it wasn't, then that would be non consensual medical procedure, and the surgeon would lose his license, idiot. I wish I had puberty blockers growing up. That would have been so nice. My tits would have been so big, my thing so small. It would be nice. It'd be really nice. I'd have been so happy to if I just had those puberty blockers. But you think my parents ever would allow me to have puberty blockers? You think parents at that time when I was growing up ever even knew or trusted puberty blockers? No. And that's the thing about puberty blockers. While they do block puberty, it is not chemical castration. The individual can still have sex, enjoy sex, and not need to come a specific way in order to be human or feel sex or be happy or have quality of life. He acts like what it is like this cyanide pill they put in their mouth and they force it down them and then they can never have sex again. It's not like that at all. These help and heal people. Ah! It's not his argument. It's not what he said. He said this stuff doesn't happen to children, and it doesn't by and large, and even if it does, it would happen by their consent, and they'd be happier people. Like Jazz Jennings. I'm pretty sure Jazz Jennings got their surgery as a minor. And God, did they look beautiful, and God, am I jealous. I wish I had that surgery at that age. That'd be fucking amazing. Wish I had puberty blockers. Neither of those things are happening because it's not mutilation, it's not chemical castration. These things are healing people, yeah. Of course, it's astute in comparison to you, at least, Matt. Oh my god. Already better content. Yeah, exactly. Don't go fuck. Talented illustrator? Okay. Hate to say it, but I've made better art than that, and I'm not a professional artist. I've made better images than that, and I could make a book with better images than that. In the way that this person made this book, it's very obvious that they didn't try that hard, because he didn't pay that much. And you don't even have to pay me to make better art than that. It already exists on the internet. Ugh, was worse. Oh my god. And the only thing he says is, like, I actually credit the author. Yeah, you credit the author, but you sell the book. The author, the illustrator, and the illustrator was underpaid because that's always what happens. Illustrators are underpaid, so the actual producers of the object or content or subject that is being sold, um, they make more money because they underpay artists, because they underpay us all, because we're the fucking worker class. I always overpay my artists. Always, always. Every time they give me money, or I give them money to do art for me, I repay them in tips. I make sure they're compensated. I make sure that they feel satisfied with the work that they did being compensated by my usage of their work. But this is Matt Walsh we're talking about. He doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna take all that money for the $40 each time and pay this guy what, 70 or less once? Probably less than that, to be honest. This is bad drawings. Bad drawings. Could be, bub. Got a little bit of old vape juice in the throat. He guesses. Bird gender. Exactly. It's nothing. It is nothing like actually being trans. It's not like I'm like, I'm a trans girl, and I'm a trans girl, and then my mom took me to the doctor and was like, "We're gonna cut your penis off." None of it is based in reality. It's all based in conservative fantasy, where they want to regress and oppress. It is not about progression and about helping and supplying quality of life on Instagram. Exactly. So low effort. You're not good with language. Okay, that's all we need. Cool, we got it. We did it. We did the video. It was hard to do, but you're not good with language. We all agree. We all fucking agree, bro. We all agree. I already heard the rest of what he says. It's not informative. Non-informative. All right. Not like anything he ever says is informative, but hey, we still have 2 years. By the way, thank you everyone for staying during that. We have about an hour worth of content. Um, I am kind of wondering if I should stop the video here so that people will actually watch. Because if I do too long of streams, people don't actually watch the full video. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But either way, I have to pee. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to end the stream for now and see if I should redo a new stream maybe tomorrow or later today. It is only 5:53 right now in California, LA, where I come from, and I could be talking about some more transphobic stuff, and also it's a good idea to constantly re-update my Twitter and all that kind of stuff, so that people know that it's currently happening and constantly happening. Because I can't just stop midstream and text and then stop midstream and write, because I don't have someone constantly promoting me like Vosh has Hyena. I don't have a partner here. It's just me in my room in rehab. So Thank you for watching. Maybe we'll do another one. Maybe later today. Stay tuned. Please follow. Please subscribe. You know, we dunked on Matt Walsh. Cool, cool. I love you. I'll see you later. Okay, bye.